Security takes her out, and then I say, I go, "Is this so funny that like this white lady comes into the
Mhm.
she comes into the show, she sees a Filipino host, a black feature, and then a Yemeni comedian, and then she goes, you know what? I gotta make this about me."
Welcome to season 2 of the Knife Wife podcast. I'm Suz, here with my husband,
Bob Terzuola.
We're professional creatives and entrepreneurs who live, love, and work together. We share our stories to find ourselves in others. P.S. This podcast has little to do with knives. Hey everybody, welcome to the Knife Wife podcast. Today we have Fun Bobby is here remotely. He's got a little laryngitis and some crud, so
I'm reporting from an undisclosed location.
And I told him don't come in here and get everybody sick. So we're here with this podcast is about everything and nothing. It's random. I seem to have no direction, a lot like my brain. We started out with couples who work together, and that was not sustainable, and it was not really my thing, I found out. So I am so excited to have our guest today. I saw him at a Don't Tell comedy show in Escondido, and when he got up on the stage, there was a couple other people before him, but when he got up on the stage, he has a sense about him, and I don't want to say aura, that sounds hokey, but he has dimples, which, you know, you have to like dimples. And he did a lot of crowd work at the beginning. He gets to know his audience a little bit, which I think is wise because it was very varied. We were the oldest people in the audience. And so when I saw him and I saw how he worked and I saw his personality, then he was being very authentic. I thought, this guy's got it. This guy, I'm telling you, one day I'm going to turn around and this guy is going to have a Netflix special. And so I'm all about it anyway. And he calls himself Ahmed Loves Bread on Instagram because no one can say his name. So I'm going to welcome Ahmed. And Ahmed, please say your name in the beautiful language you speak.
Yeah. Hey everybody, my name is Ahmed Al-Qadri, and if you could speak Arabic, Ahmed Al-Qadri. Thank y'all so
Okay.
much for having me, guys.
Yeah, dear. What can I say? I've been looking forward to it. It's where I want this to go, what I want it to be. So I know a lot about you because I basically stalked you on social media, and I listened to your podcast, which is so fun. It's called Monday Fun Day. And the last one I just listened to was with Ben Brainerd, and I love Ben Brainerd. And you're right, he's smart. This is the third one with Ben Brainerd. I'm going to call him if I have a problem. I mean, he's got it dialed in, man.
He is Ben Brainerd. We've been friends for almost 4 years now. And like, he's legit one of the smartest, also stubborn, but smartest person
Yeah.
I have ever met.
Yeah.
What I love about him is just like, he's just like, I'm right. I know I'm right. And you can't prove me otherwise. And there's times where I'm like, I admire that. And times as a friend, I'm like, you are so stubborn.
Oh, yeah, he is. He is. You're right. And I'm married to someone like that. That sounds very familiar.
Yeah.
So anyway, tell us about you. How did you get here? I mean, I'm sure your parents, when you were born, said, I hope Ahmed grows up to be a comedian. I don't.
Yeah, well, actually, yeah, that's
Really?
true. My accounting is my true passion, but my immigrant parents are forcing me to be a comedian.
I love that line.
Thank you. Yeah. So, oh my God. Yeah, like a good Spark Note version. Yeah, my parents are immigrants from Yemen. I grew up in Dallas, Texas. I was there for quite some time. And then when I graduated from high school, always wanted to do comedy. I just didn't know there was a blueprint because I was like in an Islamic community bubble. Like you don't really like, there is no like, I don't know anyone who works in the entertainment industry. So it's like there is no like pathway for it. And then when I was in college, a friend of mine told me about Dallas Comedy House, and he literally goes, I don't like it, but I know you would love it. I took my first improv class and I was like, oh, this is I love this.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I did improv. This was 10 years ago. Yeah, I was 21. And then when I was 23, I started doing stand-up. So I just hit my 8 years. And I started, it was a week after the 2016 election. So it's that's why it's easy to remember. Like,
Yes.
I was like, oh yeah, I had my 8 years. And then, yeah, I was doing improv, sketch, stand-up, and then I moved to LA 6 years ago, and then I was working an accountant by day, comedian by night, because there was no way I could be like, "Hey, Mamba, Baba, I wanna be a comedian." So I Googled and like a college best degrees to get a job with, accounting came up, and I was like, "Alright, I'll just be an accountant."
Wow. Like, not everyone could just be an accountant. I mean, I am really not good with numbers, so I couldn't do that. I couldn't do that.
I'm gonna be real, I think I was just a personality hire for every accounting job I had, because I'm super extroverted, so they were like, I mean, it just brings the overall morale of the office
Yeah.
really well. Because dude, I have ADD and I'm extroverted, which is like I have no attention to detail. I get distracted very easily.
Yes.
I just made everyone laugh in the office. They're like, "Oh, he's cool." Like,
Yeah, you sound like my life. This is what I've been doing my whole life. I've been the
Yeah.
entertainment in every job I have ever had. Every job.
do you know what's funny was throughout my accounting career, the best time I was like an account, like I was getting a promotion, I was getting raises, and they were like, "You're doing really good," was during the pandemic because I couldn't do comedy. Like I wrote jokes, but all I did, because comedy was on pause, so all I did was go to work, and then I got off work and I played video games. That's all I did. And they were like, "You're doing so good at your job," because it was like, I
Yeah.
was like, I couldn't do comedy. Like my energy wasn't in comedy
Yeah.
anymore.
That's a great story. So were you the class clown? Is that why your friends told you to go to the comedy club?
It is funny. In high school, I was like kind of like a weird kid. Like I wouldn't say shy. I was never shy. I was just weird.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Mhm.
And then like when I was a kid, I was obsessed with The Simpsons, Conan O'Brien. I loved Conan. I love him
Yeah.
so much. But my life goal is to meet him.
I met him.
But oh, you're so lucky.
He was great.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, I love him. But The Simpsons, Everybody Loves Raymond, that's like all these sitcoms. And I was like quoting the Simpsons quote to try to like be funny. But then in high school, I started like, try to tell people. I was just trying to be the funny kid in class. I was like, oh, this is a way for me to get more friends.
Yeah.
And then, like I said, I moved to LA 6 years ago. I was, again, accountant by day, comedian by night. But as of March 4th, 2022, I quit accounting to do comedy full time. So since then, I've been a stand-up full time.
Mm-hmm.
I released my own special on YouTube. Thanks for watching
Special, not
it.
so special.
Yeah, special, not so special. That was my last hour,
Mm-hmm.
and I've been working on this new hour. And when you guys saw me, it was like a mix of like new jokes, but also like some old jokes from the last hour. But like,
Yeah, I have to tell you, I wanted more. I didn't want the other people who were on. I didn't want you to walk off the stage because I knew there was more. And I was trying to be polite and not be that person with their arms crossed, sitting in the front seat, looking, you're not going to make me laugh now. But really, I could tell. So I immediately went home and watched your special.
When you were up there, she kept banging me on the knee, laughing, and I was laughing too. But she kept and it was my bad knee.
thank you. Is that the
knee.
bad knee? Oh
Yeah,
no.
Oh,
she
yeah.
kept banging it, banging it.
Oh, yeah. Now I have a bad knee and I have to have a new knee put in. And I can't do stand up yet because I can't stand up. So I got to get a new knee so I can stand up to do stand up.
Oh, I
Yeah,
feel
but her
for you
bad
guys.
knee was on the other side, so I couldn't return the favor.
Yeah.
Oh no, I feel you guys. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, I feel you. Like, my back is hurting. This morning, I farted and blew out my back. So,
Oh,
like,
no. I hate it when
I'm-
that happens.
I think I heard that.
Anyway, so in high school, so you wanted people to like you. You got it going. You figured out that's your jam. That's your
Yeah,
thing.
I've always liked. Well, there's a couple of reasons why I liked stand-up comedy. One was making like my dad was a very extroverted guy. May he rest in peace. Very extroverted. Very he was one of those like charming businessmen too, but he was also Favi. Like my dad, like these are like my dad had like he was the king of one-liners. He always just had jokes
Mine
ready
too.
just in his utility belt. So like my dad used to go, like he has 6 kids and people would be like, "You have 6 kids? Wow, that's a lot of kids." And my dad goes, "Yes, the hospital had a deal. Buy one, get one free." So
And my
that's
dad
what-
would say to people with 6 kids, "You ought to get a TV."
Oh yeah, that's a good one.
That's what you
That's a
tell
good-
people. Yeah.
And this is another one, like this is such a like, okay, I have to preface it. So Shy is tea.
Yes,
Shy,
yes,
yeah. So
yes.
shy is tea. So when I had a friend come over and he was very shy and very like timid, my dad would go up to him and go, "Don't be shy, be coffee."
Yeah, I heard you say that somewhere. Yeah, I heard you say that in one of your bits. I was like, that was funny.
Sounds
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
your dad was the Henny Youngman of Yemen.
Yeah, he was. My dad, I think like I get it from my dad. My mom is very funny too. My family is very funny, but I get it from my dad. Like after my dad died, I started learning more stories about my dad. And um and he this is like my favorite story of one time my dad grew up in Sana'a, which is the capital of Yemen.
Hmm.
And he he used to go over to their neighbor's house every day and just to go hang out with them. And a safari, like it's the house name,
Hmm.
so it'd be like House of El Qadir. Like, well, we're Beit Khan. Doesn't matter. Long story, but it was Beit Safari. But he would go over to their place, and then they go, "Hey, don't come over for Eid, which is the festival after Ramadan. Don't come over for Eid because we're going to our village in Taz, and we're gonna go spend our time over there." And he goes, "Yeah, no problem." So the neighbors of the family, this is what they tell me. They go to their village, and when they get to the village, this is not like suburbia in America. This is a
Yes.
village. When they say village, they mean a fucking village, right? It's not like the city of Sana'a. They go to this village, and all of a sudden they see a big crowd of people, a big circle, a big crowd of people. And they're like, "What's going on?" And they look in the crowd of people, they look in the middle of that crowd was my dad telling people street jokes. So this is so, and it made me so happy when they told me this. This is my dad in like high school. And I was like, "Oh, so my dad had it in him this
Yeah.
whole time." And I was like, "Oh, I probably got it from him. Like, being funny and like going out and public speaking ish, being
Yeah.
a stand up."
My dad was similar. Of course, I don't know, he'd be 120 now, but he was in vaudeville.
Really?
Yeah, and he used to
Oh.
talk. He used to tell jokes all the time. He just one joke after the other. It just never stopped. I can't tell like a 3-part joke. I'm not like a joke teller. I'm a storyteller more than a joke teller. But he would be Henny. I mean, and then I would stay up late at night with him. My mother would go to sleep, and we'd watch The Tonight Show. And our favorite part was when the comedian came on. And so, I had this father who loved comedy. We had all these comedy albums that we'd listen to. And I didn't realize until recently how influential he was on me. I'm kind of a slow learner, I guess, because I could have figured this out earlier. And he, like I'd have friends over for a sleepover, and he would do all these accents. So he'd make French toast for us for breakfast, doing a French toast. He said, "Well, what would you like with this toast? Would you like butter on your French toast? Do you?" My friend would say, "I didn't know your dad was from France." I'd be like, "Oh, he's not, actually." Or then the next time they come over and he'd do a German accent, or he'd do all these accents, and I really had a funny family. I mean, we were really funny, and people.
Yeah.
My brother, he rest in peace, he died. He was really funny too. And he and I would go like to places when we moved to California the same year you did, or you started comedy full time in 2016. And my brother and I would go out on Sundays, and we'd go like to the Dell and sit and have a cocktail outside. And he'd start to pretend to be someone he wasn't. He'd take on this whole persona, and then he'd introduce me and give me my character role, whatever that was. And we'd meet, Joe Blow from Toledo, Ohio. And I say, "Yes." Well, my brother would say, "Well, I'm a movie producer, and she's a da-da," and you're
Oh
really
my God,
attractive.
that's so much fun.
And it was
Yeah.
so much fun. And then, or else he and I were like frickin' frack. And people would say, "Couldn't we pay you to come to our parties?"
That's so funny.
Yeah, but I think it didn't pay very well. But anyway, so, okay, well, you can buy this honestly. So how did you start your podcast? Because I love your podcast. It's so real. It's all
Thank
you.
I appreciate it because there's so many times I'm like, should I keep this podcast going? But I have been more laid back. I used to be posting every week, but now I'm like, I post every 2 weeks or when I can because I've been touring so much
Yeah.
this year. But so I always, one of my favorite things was like hearing other people's life, like advices that they've received, because
Mhm.
there's so many pieces of advice out there, especially on the internet, from memes to
Yes.
now you'll see a video of like some rich guy and it's black and white with a somber or motivational music, and
Yeah.
it's like, if you work hard and do like, there's just so much motivation or just life advice out there from every
Mm-hmm.
aspect, from dating to life advice, whatever. So I liked asking people different questions. And I was like, you know what? I think it's time for me to start a podcast because we need more men with opinions. And
We don't have
we
enough
need
of
more,
those.
we need more men with microphones.
I'm,
And
I'm there. I'm there. I got an
yeah,
opinion.
Bobby's like this. I'm listening.
I'm
Yeah, that's fun,
listening. I got
Bobby.
an
He's got
opinion.
some.
So then I was like, okay, let me just start up a podcast. So I started like inviting all my friends, and like Ben Brainard was
Mm-hmm.
legit one of my first guests. And obviously, my first guest was Ryan Kelly, my older roommate who I used to do sketches with. And now, like, I'm having a better grip. I enjoyed the podcast because it made me a better interviewer. It made me a
Mm-hmm.
better listener. It made
Mm-hmm.
me more fluid, and it made me more like easier to work with the guests too. Cause sometimes like from the first 5 minutes, 10 minutes with the guests, sometimes I'm like, oh, I'd have to like put in a lot of work. Or sometimes honestly, there's some guests I could just ask him a question and I just let them rip. Like Ben.
Yeah.
Ben was so easy where I was
Yeah.
like, I would just ask him a question and he would let it rip. But there's some other people that were more like timid or make it seem like I got an argument. One of my other dear friends, his name is Saad Al Asa. He's opened for me a couple times, a
Mm-hmm.
great friend of mine. It's so funny because he's very funny on stage, but off stage, he's very serious.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And I was like, yo, we're having goofy fun. He's like, no, I don't. And there's times as a podcast where I'm like, dude, we're having goofy fun. Like, I don't understand. It ended up being a good episode, but I started it right when I quit my job, March of 2022. Then I stopped it for a little bit, and then I brought the podcast back.
Mm-hmm.
I have an editor named Anne. She's amazing. So I brought it back early 2023. I started bringing it back.
Mm-hmm.
My friend Channing has a cool studio. He gives me a good deal. So now in between my tours, I'll like start. I like, like I
Yeah.
said, similar to every other podcast, but I do enjoy it. That's pretty much why I started it. I'm getting better day in, day out of like certain guests of like what questions I should ask. And like the fact that you stalked me, it makes me feel great because it's like, so you know me. One of my pet peeves is me getting on a podcast and then people ask me like they didn't do any research. You know what I mean?
I know it. I see it all the time on talk shows. I see it. They give them the list of questions, but they don't know dip about these people. They don't know anything about these people. And I
Mhm.
love people. I mean, I love people's stories. People, the weirder the person is, the more interested I am. I don't like normal, like bureaucratic, like, I don't know. Those people bore me.
Yeah, yeah.
Orange County housewives and I don't have a lot to talk about.
Oh, dude, I can only imagine. Oh my God.
Oh gosh.
Ahmed, when you say you have people on with you like to have people on with opinions, do you have any kinds of themes that you do? Like, do you do political history?
No, so usually what I do with the podcast is first we get up, like I do like a quick little intro, this is my dear friend or this person opening, blah blah blah. We talk a little bit, and then I go, all right, now let's get right to it. And then I say, what's a good piece of advice you were given? Who told it to you? And where
Mm-hmm.
were you in your life when you were given that piece of advice? I start that
Yeah.
episode, I start that, and then we go from there. Sometimes it's funny, sometimes it's serious, but it's always like a couple of my favorite episodes, obviously Ben, Michael Lenoci, but one of my
Mm-hmm.
favorite and my most viewed is with these two girls, Harper Rose and Kate LaVenta Rose.
I gotta
They're
watch
just,
that one.
have you seen that one?
No, I haven't. I'm writing it
It's a
down.
wild one. It's a wild one. I'm definitely gonna have them back, but they were a lot of fun. But like it was a perfect combination of like wild and rowdy and chaotic, but also it got serious and had its sentimental moments. But
Mm-hmm.
but I try to have a healthy balance. Again, not only doing that podcast made me a better interviewer, but it made me a better interviewee. Uh,
Ah. Mm-hmm.
yeah, better at timing, better at getting funnier on podcasts. Oh, I wanted to say thank you, Susie. Thank you so much for the kind words, that intro you were saying. That
Oh.
made me feel so good. I was like, oh my God, I feel validated for the whole week.
Okay. Well, and when I saw you, I'm old enough to be your grandmother probably, but when I saw you, I wanted to like bring you home, make you a meal, to bring your laundry. We'll do your laundry, and you were just adorable and you're so warm. And so, I thought, well, I don't be some weirdo and say anything. But
it's
if you,
not weird, if you want, I mean, hear me out. I'm not shy at all. If you want, I'm gonna be headlining in San
I
Diego,
know we have
December
tickets.
20th.
We have
Oh
tickets. Yeah, the
yay!
mic
Yeah,
drop.
bring all your friends. I'm glad you got tickets because we only have 50 available. But if you want, me and my opener can crash at your place. So,
Okay. Well, we only have one spare bedroom with a double bed. I don't know how you. Oh, the couch. You could go on the couch.
oh no,
So
with a double, that's fine. He could take the couch and I'll take the bed, or
okay.
vice versa.
All right.
Not a problem.
Okay. All right. All right. You're on.
Cool. I'll tell David. I'll be like, hey, I got us a place for San Diego.
Okay.
So
And
perfect.
we're in North County, San Diego, though. We're not downtown San Diego. We're North County, which is
That's
just
fine.
north
Mic
of
drop
the
is in
suburbs.
Claremont,
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
so it works out.
So yeah, I'm supposed to be there soon.
All right, cool.
I
And I got
know,
your
I know.
number. I'm not shy. I
I
can't
know.
wait.
I love it. I love it. So you'll have to talk later because Bob's Italian and he has to feed everybody.
Do
So
we have to do his laundry too?
sure, I'll do his laundry. Not everybody. I don't know if I'll do your person who's on with you, but I might. I do his laundry. No, I'm not. I've done so much laundry in my life at this point. Anybody's laundry's fine.
Hey, me too.
I
Me
can
too.
see him showing up at the front door with this big bag of like a Santa Claus bag of laundry.
And
ready
I
to
do
go.
it. Okay, that's how I am. I'm from the Midwest, and that's what we do. Okay,
What part of the Midwest are you from?
Chicago suburbs.
Oh, cool. We were just
You were just there, right?
yeah, my opener and I, we were staying at a friend, my editor, and we were staying at her place. She lives in South Elgin.
Oh God.
Yeah, I know. So we were
That was-
driving an hour
Yeah, that's
to
a
the
long
city
ways.
every day.
Yeah, that's
it
a
was
long
way.
ways.
We were driving an hour to the city every day, sometimes more. But no, Chicago was a lot of fun. That one was our best show from that leg of the
Really?
tour for sure.
Oh, that's good. Yeah.
I mean, Chicago is just great, and we were in Rogers Park where there's just
Yeah.
so many. It was a lot of good food, a lot of good autumn food, and yeah, it was overall a great.
you can eat your
a
way
great
through that
show.
city. Anyway, so I want to talk a little bit about comedy. I want to talk about your comedy or what you like to do. You did great crowd work. You really warmed up your crowd. You got to know who you were talking to, and I could see in your brain that you were picking, what am I going to say to these people? Which jokes am I going to use? Because you were feeling us out a little bit. And one of the things you said was, "What's the worst?" I've seen this on other bits you've done. What's the worst dating advice someone ever gave you? And I raised my hand and said, "Keep your knees together." And you went,
Oh, yeah.
"What are is your mother my mother?" And I was like, "Yeah, she's of that age." So yes, she was. So anyway, so tell me about, how you work, what's your style?
Oh man, yeah, I could go on and on about comedy, so I love geeking out about this.
Yeah, me too.
I'm glad I started comedy when I did start because my favorite comedians, their main advice is write jokes and write more jokes.
Mm-hmm.
So before crowd work became a big thing,
Mm-hmm.
I was always a purist of no, it's all about good joke writing skills. And I still believe that till this day. I think good joke writing skills will keep you going.
Yeah, you have an act.
Yeah, right, you have an act. But I think the number one, I always tell other people, you have to get the audience to like you first
Mhm.
before you could do whatever you want. Does that make sense? So I'm you have to be likable as first, and then when they like you, then you have permission to do whatever you want. So
Right.
it's kind of when I would go with these likability, crowd work is easy to feel out the crowd, and then I do I'm an extrovert type of material or some other being poor or stuff like that.
Mhm.
And then I go, can I do an edgy joke? Okay, let's talk about 9/11.
Yes, you did talk about 9/11. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, or I'll do an even and more edgier joke, but I do those because it's let me earn the audience's trust first and then go into it.
Mhm.
To be honest, with crowd work, I'm having I'm good at it. If you ask me, would you rather just do 20 minutes of crowd work or 20 minutes of joke writing? I'll just do jokes.
Yeah,
I'd rather just do jokes, but
And tell people because the crowd sometimes can take over the act.
right.
Like a
and then
heckler
they,
can,
And then
yeah.
they think it's all about them.
Mhm.
And then it gets hecklers too excited.
Mhm.
And the thing is, when you do crowd work, sometimes you lose the crowd. And
Mhm.
fortunately, I've been doing comedy long enough to where I have control of the crowd, no matter what. But
You do.
I prefer what I do is I get up, I'll riff about this wherever I'm at, and then I'll do some crowd work like on the front seat. But my crowd work is not mean, and I don't try to interview you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The ideal crowd work is let them share the information. I will only make fun of you based, like, I'll just be like, you look like this, you look like that, or
Mhm.
you look great. Very simple, very easy, like nothing too much. And then if they talk back, that's when I like let them be more vulnerable, because I try to let the audience member give themselves permission to be vulnerable. And then I go to my act, because it's like at the end of the day, like I'm a comedian. We're here to hear. Let's hear some jokes.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. I don't want to meet the
Um,
people in the audience. I don't really want to know them
right.
better.
I mean, no one is paying. Yeah, you're not paying $25 to know what this guy is doing for a living. You know.
Yeah. Yeah.
And someone told me that this is an old veteran comedian that told me this years ago, but he said, don't do crowd work. This is when my first year of comedy. He goes,
Mhm.
don't do crowd work. That's A+ laughter with C- jokes. They, those old veteran
Oh, yeah.
like comedians who had an alcohol addiction but not anymore. Like
Yeah,
like
yeah.
"Hey,
Or
let me
Don
tell you something."
Rickles did all that crowd work. I mean, he did
Yeah,
nothing but crowd work for the
he did
first
nothing, and he was
30
just
minutes.
roasting the crowd. Yeah.
Yeah, he was. He got away with it, but there aren't many for that. So tell us about. Do you ever have a story like about the worst heckler you ever had? What's the or
Oh,
the?
I have plenty.
Oh,
I have
tell us. I
plenty.
love.
I
I
have
love that.
so many. Yeah. Oh my God. I have so many. Let's start with Chicago.
Okay.
Literally, uh, 2 years ago, I started touring, and I'm in Chicago. And like, one thing, I'm in this point in my career, it's like I don't have I'm not selling out rooms. So like a
Mm-hmm.
lot of times when I do a room, it's like people who are just getting free tickets for this, not free tickets, like a discounted tickets because they need people to fill.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's a mixture of like some of my fans, right?
Yeah. Well, I'm going to make sure you have more. I am on the Ahmed,
Thank you. That means a
fan
lot,
base.
seriously.
Yeah.
But anyways, so I was doing the comedy bar in Chicago, and there was some people who came to see me, but there were some people who just like they're here to see comedy. And this one guy was heckling my openers. He was heckling the host. He was heckling the guest spot. He was heckling the feature. He was heckling this whole time. And I was like, I'm gonna leave him alone for now. So I started doing my act, and then he knew I wasn't giving him attention. So then
Mm-hmm.
he pulls out his phone. He goes, "Yeah, what's up?" And he starts talking loud. And I go, "Why are you on your phone?" He goes, "Oh, I'm talking to a comedian." And I was like, "Do you really want to do this?" And he was like, "Yep." I was like, "So you're just gonna heckle the show?" He goes, "Yep." I was like, "Did I do something to you?" He goes, "Nothing yet." I was like,
Oh,
he
jeez.
just wanted my attention. And I
Yeah.
go, "Is this a way for you to get attention without having any talent?" And he goes, "Yeah, yeah." And everyone starts laughing and ohing,
Yeah.
and then you feel the energy getting tense,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Like you feel, because that's the thing with hecklers. It's like you're basically farting in the room and I have to deal with it.
Mm-hmm.
You
Mm-hmm.
know?
Mm-hmm.
I know it's such a dumb analogy, but it's
It's
true.
true.
So it's like, I told him this. I said, give me 5 minutes, let me do my act, and I promise everyone's going to be laughing and enjoying yourselves. And I promise you, I'll be so proud of you for cooperating. I'm going to kiss your forehead, right? That's what I said. That's what I said. So then I started doing my act. And then there was this one joke where the heckler was laughing so hard, he's hitting his knee, he's slapping his knee, and his head is almost on the table. Like he was
Mm-hmm.
laughing so hard. And then I point at the guy, I go, "See what happens when you start paying attention?" And then I go, "Get over here." And I kiss his forehead, and the whole crowd started cheering. And then my editor, Ann, she lives in Chicago. She was like, it's just so interesting to me, because she was like, I'm used to seeing like Ben and Ryan, who they perform in front of a crowd that knows them. But she was like, I'm seeing you performing in front of people that don't know you, and you turn the whole room around.
Yeah.
You know?
I saw it.
So that was one heckler story I was proud of. There's another one in Indianapolis. It's always the Midwest, by the way.
Okay. Yeah.
But we're in Indianapolis. This happened in my last tour. It's my first time in this city. I'm doing the upstairs room that's only like 50 seats. It's the small room. It was the Colts versus the Steelers. It was a game night.
Mm-hmm.
And I look at David, my opener. I go, "Watch, we're going to have some drunk people in the crowd." And he was like, "You think so?" I was like, "Trust me. I've been doing
Yeah.
this long." I was like, "We are." And it was so funny because you have my fan base. I mean, it's very like, my fan base is very culturally diverse. It's very like, Like you'll have brown people,
Mm-hmm.
Asians, Mexicans, and some white people that
Old white ladies
white
like
people.
me.
Yeah, old white. Seriously, no, really, old white ladies, but also white people that are married
Oh, to brown
people
people?
of color.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
or just white people. So it's like very diverse, and a lot of gay people because it's like, they don't feel attacked with my comedy.
Mm.
So
Okay.
because a lot of comedians attack gay, not attack gay people, but you know what I
Yeah,
mean.
they
Like,
make jokes
yeah,
about them. Yeah.
yeah, but mine's very very like I'm not attacking
Mm-hmm.
whatever. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So they feel safe. That's
Yeah.
according to my lesbian and gay fans. But so it was that, and then I had a couple drunk people, but there was a couple tables like there was these Colts fans that were really drunk and these Steelers fans that were drunk. And I was able to handle them, and like every time they heckled I was able to like say something back, which was fine.
Mm-hmm.
But there was this one lady, she just couldn't stop heckling. Like, she tried to make this about herself.
Mm.
At one point, she just goes, like, she said something, and I go, all right, keep it going for her. Like, and she goes, we were kicked. She was like, we weren't able to get the show downstairs because the show downstairs sold out. So, like, they sent us up here. And I go, yeah, because the show downstairs was a black show and it was an all black room. So they looked at you and they said, get your honky ass upstairs. So that everyone started laughing, and then, like, at one point, she was being drunk again, heckling, like, for no reason. She just goes, "Me and my best friend," like, the girl next to her goes, "We've been best friends since 1993." And I go, "Oh, yeah? I was born in 1993." She got upset. At one point, she stood up in the middle of the show, and people around were like, "Oh my God, please sit down." She stood up, she's drunk, and she goes, "No, us old women, we still like to have fun." Like, she got sensitive. And then security had to take her out. Security takes her out, and then I say, I go, "Is this so funny that like this white lady comes into the
Mm-hmm.
she comes into the show, she sees a Filipino host, a black feature, and then a Yemeni comedian, and then she goes, you know what? I gotta make this about me." And then like everyone starts laughing. I'm like just trying to like I'm just trying to like make any joke I could to like ease the moment because it was just so tense because security had to take her out and like she just couldn't stop talking because she was drunk. Anyways, I was able to recover,
Good for
finish the
you.
show. The security let her back in. She was quiet. She enjoyed the show. After the show, during the like, I was selling merch, and then she comes up to me, and this is how she made it about herself again. She just goes, "I guess security was mad at me because I was having too much fun." And then she
Oh,
stormed out. And then her friend and her friend's husband were looking at me like, "I'm so sorry. Like, I
yeah.
don't know why. Like,
Yeah.
she's making." But dude, I have so many stories of this of like hecklers just trying to make this about themselves, or sometimes you gotta pick whether to be mean to them or not. One time I had an autistic heckler, and I knew
Oh
I
boy.
picked on she was autistic, and I just like had to be very nice and kind to her.
Mm-hmm.
Of just like, "Oh, it seems like you're having fun, but hey, you're ruining the show. Is it okay if you just like let me talk?" And then like at the end of the show, like her friend was like, "Hey, thanks for like handling this very
Mm-hmm.
like kindly
Good for
and not
you.
like."
You
So
have
it's
some
like I'm
talent
telling you,
there.
you have so but that's the thing with stand-up. Now you have to do your hour, but at the same time you have to juggle with these different hecklers, you know?
Yeah, you have to be a social worker.
Mhm.
Anyway, well, sadly, we're almost in. I started late today. I wanted you to tell people where to reach you, and I know we'll see you on the 20th. And yes, you can bring your laundry, and yes, you can stay. And Fun Bobby. Oh, he never got to ask you one more question, Bobby. You have a question about his knife. So we looked. I showed him the picture of you in your
Yes.
dress. Uh,
I
oh,
brought
there
it.
it is. Oh my God. Okay, so.
So this is called a jembia. It's
Mm-hmm.
a traditional thing that you wear it with like
Mm-hmm.
a thobe, like the white.
Yeah.
What do you call a thobe and the white? I don't want to say a dress because it's not really a dress.
It's like a Nehru suit almost. It's I don't know, a coat. It's
I don't
almost
know
a
what it's
coat. I don't
called.
know.
Yeah, but you wear this, and then this. I've had this since 8th grade, so the knife is rusted. But yeah.
Well, bring that, and Bob can clean it up for you in his shop
Oh,
because he
really?
makes knives. He's a professional knife maker. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah, he has quite a knife collection also
Okay, I'll
from
bring
all
that
over the
in. But
world.
yeah, I have a podcast called Monday Fun Day Podcast. I
Hmm.
have a special on YouTube called Ahmed Kadri, Special Not Special. It's my old hour. And if you live in San Diego, please come. I'll be headlining the mic drop December 20th. Get your tickets because it's only 50 available. So get your tickets soon. And yeah, I'm excited for what has yet to come. 2025 is going to be a good year for me. I
Yeah.
just know it. So yeah, come through.
And I predict that one day you're going to be selling out arenas.
I hope
And
so.
write
I
that
hope you're
down.
right.
No, I know I'm right. I have no question about it. It just now you got to meet some people. You got to, how the business works. I know because I worked in the entertainment business for a long time, and it's who you know or who you blow. But but I don't recommend that. It doesn't last long. But really, yeah, you got to get some people who are a little further along that can help you and whatever. And but I see it coming. I really do. So, and I hope we can have you on again because I could nerd out on comedy all day.
You too.
So, all right. Well, so come bring your laundry, and everybody go see Ahmed at if you're in San Diego, and if you go to your Instagram page and your website, you can see your other dates, right?
Yes. My Instagram is Ahmed Loves Bread. Check it out. If you follow me, you're a breadhead. If you come to a show, you're a purebred. So
I got to get our T-shirts before we come. Okay.
yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you, sweetie. You're a doll.
Thank y'all so much. Bye, everyone.
Bye, Ahmed.
Bye for now. Thanks for listening. If you like what you're hearing, please share this with a friend and subscribe where you listen to podcasts. Support our efforts through Patreon at TheKnifeWife, and for all Terzuola goodness, go to Terzuola.net. And remember, if you're not laughing, you're not living. Comments and questions can be made on Instagram at The KnifeWife Podcast or our Facebook group, The KnifeWife Podcast. And if you're a couple who work together and would like to be on our podcast, tell us about yourself with an email at eccentricsuz.com or terzuola.net.